Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. The time has finally come to end this month of Mario. We already looked into Mario's adventures on the NES, but now the time has finally come to go into the 16-bit world. So without further ado, here's my review of Super Mario Bros. Super Mario World. Super Mario Bros. 3 to this day is considered one of the best NES games of all time, and certainly one of the best Mario games ever. So making a successful sequel to an already fantastic game is almost always an intimidating task. Fortunately, Super Mario World not only managed to successfully bring Mario into the 16-bit world, but is often considered to be the best Mario game of all time. Something I wholeheartedly agree with. Super Mario World is just freaking incredible. It's a bit more exciting, a bit more challenging, a bit more perfect, a bit more colorful, a bit more realistic, a bit more levels, a bit more secrets, a bit more enemies, a bit more traps, a bit more sound, a bit hotter, a bit cooler, a bit weirder, a bit more revolutionary, a bit more Mario, a bit more of what you want. It's 16-bit and it's only yours if you can get it. Well, you know the rest. In 1991, America saw the release of the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, one of my favorite consoles of all time. At its release came F-Zero, Pilot Wings, Gradius 3, SimCity, and Super Mario World. That's right, one of the best Mario games of all time was a fucking launch title. In today's world, that's something almost unheard of. Launch titles today are usually forgotten in favor of later games that really take advantage of the console's capabilities. But Super Mario World just goes to show that it's not fucking around. This game wants to show you just what the Super Nintendo is capable of doing. Now, if you're wondering why throughout the years Nintendo hasn't made a Super Mario Bros. 4, well, Super Mario World in Japan is considered the fourth entry in the classic Super Mario Bros. Series. I don't know why they didn't just call it Super Mario Bros. 4, but Super Mario World works just fine for me anyway. Plot-wise, it's your usual Mario swig. While visiting Dinosaur Land, Princess Peach is kidnapped once more by Bowser, and as Mario, you need to rescue her. At this point, I guess they weren't even trying to add anything to the plot, really. The game could have been set anywhere else, and there wouldn't be a goddamn difference. Dinosaur Land might as well be the Mushroom Kingdom, with dinosaurs. Speaking of dinosaurs, Super Mario World introduces us to Yoshi, a green dinosaur that wants to rescue his friends from the clutches of Bowser. Not only do you ride him like a horse, but you can also eat a shit ton of things. You can also use him to take an extra hit, and if you're feeling dickish, you can dismount him and do a super jump. Since we're now on the Super Nintendo, we have more buttons to work with, so Mario could do more tricks than he could in the NES. Besides having a normal jump, Mario now sports a spin jump. With this, Mario can break certain blocks with his feet and also bypass spiked enemies and other obstacles without harming himself. Hell, sometimes it completely obliterates enemies. Booyah. The L and R triggers, you can shift the screen left and right, but honestly, I never use this feature. I guess it can help you see what's up ahead, but I don't know, I always found it kinda pointless. Returning from Super Mario Bros. 3 is the ability to carry Koopa shells and whatnot, only this time Mario can toss things up into the sky, which is great for knocking out pricks like Lakitu. Holding items underwater also lets you swim faster, which is odd, because I don't see how an inanimate object propels Mario forward from the front. On the top of the screen is your backup item, life insurance if you will. If you collect another power-up while already powered up, your current item will go into the box. If you get hit and turn into regular Mario, the item will automatically release for you to collect and save yourself from certain death. But if you want to release the item yourself, you just press the select button. So yeah, we have some new moves, but the best thing Super Mario World brings to the table is the best control ever in a Mario game. I'm dead serious. If there's something I can absolutely gush over, it's how Mario handles in this game. It's incredibly smooth and I always feel like I'm in complete control. No floatiness, just the right amount of momentum. I can do things in this game that I'll never be able to do in other Mario games without dying repeatedly. It's about as good as I can get. Now, if you were a huge fan of Super Mario Bros. 3, then, well, I hope you didn't like all those unique power-ups because none of them return in this game. No Super Leaf, no Tanuki suit, no Frog suit, no P-Wings, and sadly, no Hammer Brothers suit. It's kind of a bummer to be perfectly honest, but we do get the return of the Mushroom and the Fire Flower, which actually isn't too useful in this game, but it does turn enemies into coins upon impact, so that's something, right? The Starman also returns and definitely lasts longer than it did in Mario 3, but other than that, you might be thinking, well, shit, the power-up selection in this game blows! Well, you're probably right, but in exchange for the missing power-up, Super Mario World introduces us to what's probably the most game-breaking power-up ever in Super Mario Bros. History. The Cape Feather. Obtaining it will turn Mario into Cape Mario. Think of it like the Super Leaf from Mario 3 on fucking steroids. When Mario reaches maximum speed, Mario can take off to an incredibly high distance. Then, by rhythmatically pressing back on the D-pad, you can have Mario fly. By simply holding down the jump button while descending, Mario will fall very slowly, allowing you to better position yourself for landing. And if you hold down forward while flying, Mario will headbutt the ground, which will take out every enemy that's touching the ground. Finally, like the Super Leaf, you can press the run button to have Mario spin around, allowing him to attack enemies with the cape or open up blocks. But unlike the Super Leaf, this attack is incredibly reliable and you can spam the hell out of it. So not only can Mario kill enemies with it, but with the power to fly, Mario can fly over just about any level that isn't auto-scrolling or have a ceiling. It's game-breaking. So with that said, try not to overuse it. It's a great power-up, but perhaps a little too great. And then there's the new kid in town, Yoshi. By pressing the run button while on Yoshi, you can have him stick out his tongue and eat just about anything that moves. Well, almost anything anyway. Whatever Yoshi can't devour, he simply holds in his mouth, where he can spit it back out like a projectile, which is especially effective with Koopa shells, which have different results depending on what color the shell is. Green shells act like projectiles, red shells turn into fireballs, yellow shells allow Yoshi to super stomp, and blue shells allow Yoshi to fly. Not only that, but along your travels you'll come across different colored Yoshis who can perform multiple abilities with just one Koopa shell. Overall, Yoshi is awesome, and I always look forward to completing levels with him. And unlike New Super Mario Bros. Wii, you can actually bring Yoshi with you if you finish the level with him. Ha! +1 for old school. No, wait, but Yoshi can't go into ghost houses or castles. Well, shit. The enemies are all something you should be used to at this point. Like the previous game, we get variations of classic enemies as well as brand new enemies. Some are pretty easy to beat like Rex, who takes 2 jumps to kill, and Swooper, who you can find in caves. And then there's this asshole, Charging Chuck. Besides having no fucking idea what sport he's supposed to be playing, he also likes to jump at you, throw rocks, split into copies, and warn other enemies about your presence.
What an asshole!
Other than that though, Super Mario World does bring more staples into the series, like Big Boos, Wigglers, and Jesus! Bonsai Bills. Christ, could you make them a little bigger next time? Shit! Finally, Super Mario World introduces us to the Magic Koopa before becoming the character Kamek. But when there's enemies, there's also bosses. Returning from Super Mario Bros. 3 are the Koopalings, looking to get revenge from their humiliating defeat from the last game. In fact, their defeat was so humiliating, they've become even more pathetically easy than they were last time. Really. The Koopalings in this game are a freaking joke. And it's certainly one of the game's worst aspects. Hell, the mini-boss Reznor is more intimidating to them, and even then he's not much of a challenge either. But thankfully, the level themes and design more than make up for it. Dinosaur Land is full with tons of obstacles that Mario needs to complete. First, we have Yoshi's Island, which is pretty simple and gets you familiar with some of the gimmicks you'll be seeing throughout your adventure. Then there's the Donut Plains, which introduces you to the Cape Feathers, so you'll most likely end up flying over anything. After that, we have Vanilla Dome, where almost every level is in a cave and whatnot, and certainly has a lot of dangerous things Mario needs to avoid. Next up is Cookie Bread. Okay, what's with all the food themes? Were the producers really hungry at the time they named these map locations? What's next? Chocolate Island? Oh, god damn it! Well, at least Forest of Illusion doesn't make me hungry, and Valley of Bowser is just as generic as it can get. But anyway, like other titles, each location brings their own set of obstacles, though unlike Super Mario Bros. 3, there's no radically different climates. So you'll never know what obstacle you'll run into next. New to the Mario universe are ghost houses, which are pretty much the puzzle levels in this game. They can be rather tricky, but honestly, it won't take you very long to solve their mazes. It's not like they're giving you many options either. Also, what's with the giant green balls? What the hell are these things supposed to be? Castles and fortresses are back in full force, and like the last game, these stages want you dead. Deader than dead. They want Mario wiped from existence. Look at this. Good lord, somebody's really paranoid. I think I can safely say that each castle and fortress are much harder than their respective boss fights, which is kind of sad actually, but oh well. You finish each stage by running past these 2 large poles, but if you manage to touch the elevating tape between the poles, you can earn bonus points that will lead you into a bonus room if you manage to score over 100 bonus points. But if that wasn't enough, some stages, and by that I mean a lot of them, also have more than one exit. You see, stages on the world map are categorized by either a yellow dot or a red dot. If it's a yellow dot, then the stage only has one exit, but if it's a red dot, then there's an alternate exit that can lead you to either a secret level or a shortcut throughout the map, usually through finding a key and putting it into a keyhole. Getting 100% completion in this game requires you to find just about every single exit in the game. And let me tell you, while some of them are pretty easy to find, others are some you probably never find without some sort of a guide. Like this one, where you have to somehow manage to go under the normal exit and head past it to reach the second one. You can do that by either flying under it with a cape or by betraying your one and only friend. I'm so sorry, Yoshi! Ghost houses usually sport more than one exit as well, but if you go out of your way to find alternate exits, then you'll most likely encounter a switch palace, which can turn transparent blocks in specific levels solid, allowing you to easily discover alternate exits in other stages. Yellow and green blocks also contain mushrooms and cape feathers as well, but red and blue blocks don't have anything in them, which I always found odd. If you plan on playing every level in the game, you'll also encounter the occasional Star Warp, which takes you to the Star World. And if you manage to complete that world and find every exit, you'll encounter the Special Zone, containing the game's hardest stages, though you wouldn't know by looking at the stage names. Gnarly, Tubular, Way Cool, Awesome, Groovy, Mondo, Outrageous, and Funky? No, really guys, how about Bodacious? How about Radical? Cowabunga? How about Bitching? I like that one. But on a serious note, these stages really are the hardest in the game, especially Tubular because of those fucking charging chucks.
What an asshole!
But when all's said and done and you manage to clear the last special stage, not only are you deemed a super player, but the entire world goes through a seasonal change, going from a spring-like setting to more of an autumn setting, and... what the fuck? Yeah, for some reason, not only does the season change, but some enemies also change too. Bitching? After traveling through the ghost ship, which honestly could have been put there by Mario himself, we reach the Valley of Bowser, where the King of Koopas awaits. And, wait, what the? His castle has a back door? A back door? You You moron! You idiotic, illogical, oversized, stubborn dipshit! Why? Why would you have something like this here? I'm at a loss for words. I thought Wart was the king of jackasses by having something that kills him inside his own room, but Bowser! I mean, my god! You know what? I'm not even going to go through this back door. I'm going to go through the main entrance. I'd feel like I'm picking on the mentally disabled if I went through that door. Anyway, after you run through Bowser's castle, we come face to face with the big man himself, sporting a clown copter. Alright, whatever. I already made fun of him with the whole backdoor fiasco, so let's do this. What the? Is that a fucking bowling ball? What in God's name is up with Bowser in this game? You know what? Forget I asked. After delivering the final blow, Bowser releases Princess Peach from capture and skyrockets into oblivion. With a set of fireworks and a catchy as hell credits theme, you completed Super Mario World, and wow, what an adventure. If there's one Mario game I played the shit out of when I was a child, it was this game. Granted, I've had my fun with the original game and especially Mario 3, but Super Mario World just delivered the most entertainment. I mean, not only did I enjoy the gameplay, but it was the first Mario game to actually make me smile. I mean, come on, don't tell me you didn't laugh when you saw Castle 4 just skyrocket into the hill in the background, or how Mario just wipes Castle 6 from existence with a simple mop. It may not sound like much, but when it comes to simple things like this, Super Mario World delivered the most memories to me. Graphically speaking, it's nice and it gets the job done. Though the Super Nintendo would later go to show just what the system is capable of, Super Mario World for a launch title and for a 16-bit game for that matter looks nice. The sense of depth is increased thanks to the added backgrounds and helps deliver an atmosphere that wasn't seen yet in a Mario game. And then we have the music. To this day, it's my favorite 2D Mario soundtrack. It's upbeat, incredibly catchy, and most impressively, it's all mostly variations of just one theme. And if it can do that without getting repetitive, well, that's just freaking amazing. The level design is the best I've ever seen in a 2D Mario game, and the amount of challenge is just right, unlike its schizophrenic predecessor, and I never come across anything that I deem cheap. Like I mentioned earlier, one of my only gripes with this game are the boss fights. They're pathetically easy and leave a lot to be desired, with the exception of the final boss. Somewhat. But combined with what I think is the best control ever in a Mario game and with some great aesthetics, Super Mario World is my favorite 2D Mario game by far, and something I definitely recommend you play. With that said, I'll give Super Mario World a 9.5 out of 10. Just shy of a perfect score, but come on, a score this high over 20 years later? That's an achievement, and should be a sign of just how awesome this game is. Now, some of you may have noticed that I was certainly a little more generous with the classic Sonic the Hedgehog series, and I know a lot of you have questioned some of my scores for the classic Mario games. But like I said before, I'm a bigger Sonic fan than I am a Mario fan, as Sonic's high-speed platforming style just appeals to me more than Mario's old-fashioned but refined formula. Sonic the Hedgehog just does more for me than Mario does, but at the same time, I cannot deny just how good Mario games can be. In fact, if it weren't for Mario, there wouldn't be a Sonic, and I can't thank the Italian plumber enough for that, even though he isn't real. At this point, it's a matter of preference, and yeah, I'll admit, I'm a bit biased when it comes to these two franchises, but that's mainly because of nostalgia, and really, does it matter what score I give this game? It's fucking Mario, he's immune to negativity. Sure, I gave Lost Levels a low score, but I know for a fact that I'm the minority in there, and that many people love that game. Mario is called Mr. Video Game for a reason, and certainly wasn't because of that mustache. So remember kids, before you pick up that copy of the next Call of Duty or Madden or whatever is considered mainstream today, try out a Super Mario game, and see the man responsible for getting video games back into popularity. Mario, or more accurately, Shigeru Miyamoto, Nintendo, I salute you, and thank you. Wait. Almost forgot about this game. Super Mario All-Stars, a compilation of the first 4 Super Mario Bros. Games. Not only does it contain the Mario games you know and love, but every single game has been updated with 16-bit graphics, sounds, and a save feature which can make some games a bit more bearable. Every game plays exactly how it did in the original release, so if you like the game on the NES, then you should be able to jump right in. Personally, with all the neat little graphical updates and the added save feature, Super Mario All-Stars is the definitive way to play the classic Mario games. Though if you're up for a little more challenge, I suggest you play the original 8-bit versions. Fortunately, Nintendo has recently re-released Super Mario All-Stars on the Nintendo Wii for Mario's 25th anniversary, so you no longer have to go out and hunt for a Super Nintendo as well as a copy of the original game. Though some people, including me, thought they should have included the version of All-Stars that also contained Super Mario World. Not a huge loss though, that's what the virtual console's for. I really do like the look of this box, and I hope they do something similar with Mario's 30th anniversary. Like a compilation of all of Mario's 3D games with updated graphics and whatnot. Hey, a man can dream, right? Other than that, there's nothing much else to say except, well, if you want to play all the classic Mario games in one package, get Super Mario All-Stars. The updated aesthetics and the save feature definitely adds more to its accessibility, so it's great for you if you're just getting into the Mario franchise. I won't give it a score because I already reviewed each game contained within, but I can greatly appreciate what the compilation does to the Mario games we all know and love. Well, most of them.